Yeah. Okay, great. So yes, we started our journey about on Monday, and so we began to move step by step. We began to move stepwise through the paces. Now, initially, I made sure that I kind of gave us a context as to how this program will run. That one of the most important things is that there are some things that are not necessarily taught, but which are the basic principles that are needed for anyone who will do a very good job of ghostwriting, particularly when you're writing, when you're helping someone write something like a memoir or an autobiography or something like that. We've been able to talk about, being able to enter into another person's feelings or empathizing, right, as being very, very crucial. We've also been able to talk about, like desiring to tell people stories, desiring to help people get their stories out. Now, these things take practice. It actually takes practice. And what it does is that the moment your mind is programmed along that direction, what you begin to see is that you talk. Now let me break that down. So a collector is somebody who, okay, for instance, I used to collect let me see. I used to collect oh wow, I need to check where's my collection. Da, 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 da. Okay, I can't find where I put my collection. I used to collect stamps. So I used to be a stamp collector, right? And a stamp collector, and I think I must have stamps from about 40 countries or so that I've collected. Now, what happens is that because I began to collect stamps, stamps suddenly uh, got elevated to a new level of importance to me. A person who is not a stamp collector may not be impressed if he sees the stamp from Russia, or if he sees an English a stamp from England, because there's no connection. When you begin to empathize and you want to tell people stories, what happens is that you become a collector of stories. You also become a collector of statements, phrases. Sometimes a phrase begins to recall in your mind, and that phrase, what it does is that it's like and I need to be able to use it in a story. So you're collecting those items, and then you're storing them away. And then the next thing is, when it's time to write somebody's story, that line that you have been keeping for 3 years would suddenly feel like, yes, you're about to find your new home, right? And then you plug it into that stuff. Now, all of these things are the nuances that are not necessarily talked about within how to I've mentioned that in the opening class, how to title chapters, all of those things, you know um, strong openings, strong endings, and all of those things are things that I'm still going to teach. I'm curating a manual for that I will share with you all, that I'm basically going to take you, through all of that. The truth is that those ones, with diligent search online, you might be able to get them. But what we are starting with, or what we have been doing so far, things that you might not be able to get, because if you think ghostwriting, you might not think towards the things I'm sharing right now. Like, it might not cross your mind to even do any search in relation to these things, because they don't seem directly, connected. But these are the things that bring out the exceptional experience. I'm going to share 2 chapters from different materials I've written over the past. I'm going to share 2 chapters of books that are already published. I wouldn't share those that are yet unpublished. So I'll just share a chapter from each that would help to underscore some of the things I'm saying right now. Okay, good. So I only got Baba Femi's assignment from. I got Baba Femi's assignment. I also got Mr. Lawal's assignment. But I'm going to have to ask Mr. Lawal to quickly help us to read what he wrote, so that we can experience the same review that other people experienced when they read theirs. So let's quickly do that. If you could just read your little article or the paragraph you put together, then we can easily have other people review very quickly, and then we can move on to diving into other parts of the class today. Okay, I finally got Mrs. Adetunji's Are you ready for? Are you ready? Okay, go ahead,
Okay.
please. Yes. Yeah. Yes,
Yes.
you
Am I
are.
audible,
You
sir?
are. I'm going to mute my microphone so that you can have the floor.
Okay. All right. I'll start now. Fourth June 2013, had just returned disappointed. I gained admission. He wouldn't sit to my financial state to convince him not to seek admission, but he won't budge. I thought were not his fault. End of paragraph. Sorry, sir.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, great. So, interested in help on this presentation, please, very quickly. Is anybody there?
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah. Good evening. Yeah.
Great story. He left me, the paragraph left me with a lot of questions. I'm trying to figure out what kind of image you looked at that made you come up with such a story. Was it a picture of a father looking at the son with disease or with PT or something? I don't know, but it's an aspect of entering into someone's story and then trying to like who the person is.
All right.
I don't know if I'm very clear.
Okay.
Yes, please. You can respond to that. Thank you.
Okay. I visualized someone that is very, very close to me, my neighbor, precisely. He's an elderly man, and he actually has a teenage son who just gained admission. So picture him is putting just I'm actually really convinced. So putting a story himself. So he said it, I'm just narrating it.
Do you still want to respond to that?
I think it's the same thing you said, what I did. Like, is the point of view.
Right? Exactly. To the recording of yesterday's, I particular assignment to be written from the. So that point of view to see everything that that from that kind of thing, because it really this state of mind or this approach is priceless. Said makes people recommend again and again and again. Know that.
I would like to go first.
Can I continue?
No, it's fine. You
want to write this story.
Okay. Yeah, I've thought about why I want to write, this story, and I feel that the most important thing for me is that I want to tell people how I blazed a trail that others feared to even tread on, that kind of thing. I want to talk about what it is to be lonely as a pioneer.
Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So why? Do you? So who's your audience that you're looking at? Other entrepreneurs like you going to startups?
Well, I want to speak to young people who have their lives ahead of them, who have their lives before them, and who are being pressured to conform to the standards. Who have been victims of the cookie cutter system of the world, and who I feel by their breaking out of the mold really make a difference in the world. Yeah, that's my audience. Young people. Primary audience would be young Africans, and then that could escalate to the global youth population.
Amazing. Have you considered also writing other aspects of your experiences? Because from what you're saying now, it may how do I say it now? From what you're saying now, just writing to this group of people may not capture all of your experience. It's not
It's fine. You're practicing. Well, I think I understand what you mean, but I feel like I want to scaffold my story And this would seem to be the most foundational aspect of it. And in itself, it's a full volume, right? So I don't want to this intensity, with which I want to pass across the story.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. So those are 3 questions. Who is next?
Yeah, I think I should go next.
Who's going next?
Yeah.
All right.
I want to try this. Okay. I would like to know, do you think if you were the audience and reading your story, would you be impressed? The story you want to write, would you be impressed?
Oh well, I feel like I've seen substantial proof that my story, energizes people. I've had conversations, one-on-one conversations. I've stood before audiences to talk to them, and it's as if I set fires in their hearts. So I feel if my spoken word has such an effect, and it's spoken sessions are basically time bound, so you can't speak more than 1 hour or 2 hours at a time. But with my book, I feel like I want to have 24 hours uninterrupted with the reader, however long they want to spread the 24 hours, but at least that uninterrupted attention that will give the words I have to speak. So I believe so strongly that they'll be impressed.
Okay, well, yeah. That's fine. And I also would like to know, writing a memo, you are giving much more details compared to when you are talking. And I believe along the way there will be moment of truth, deep reflections that you have to really put in the book. Are you willing to be that open to your audience in giving them those deep things that they might really not know?
Well, I feel like the same way, how I call it. I feel the same way I could journal, and from time to time I've given out my journals to young people close to me that I really wanted them to enter into my experience. So I've given them my journals at some points to read my entries, and that's as vulnerable as one can get to actually share your journal with people, right? So while this might mean that people that I do not know from Adam will get to read, I feel like I'm willing to be as vulnerable as I need to be, right? I'm willing to be as vulnerable as I need to be. Yes, I am.
Finally, I would like to also know if your story is coming from a position of pain, or you just feel you have a story to just excite people or motivate them, kind of. Is it from a position of pain, or it's just an exciting story that people will just be happy about?
Okay, well, I wouldn't say it's from a position of pain, because I'll rather say it's from a position of conviction and of victory, right? So I feel like one of the things most young people fear in taking on the call to lead lives that are not on par with the status quo is the fear of the future, the uncertainty about where will it all end, right? And I want to be able to share with people that it actually ends well and it continues, because the ending is not one static point. It ends well and it keeps ending well, right? So I feel that my story could actually zones and step into deep waters. Yeah.
Okay, literally, you want to let people set conviction. I think that's basically what
I want to set the fire of conviction in people's hearts. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Amazing questions. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So we're waiting for
Okay. Hello, sir.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you for trusting me enough to want me to write your story. So first off, I would like to ask, what is your most nostalgic childhood memory?
Okay.
Think of like most